Hopefully this works. Hopefully it doesn't just disconnect, so we'll see what happens. See what happens here. I am driving. I'm doing my usual drive from Cape Coral to Venice, but this time it is for Thanksgiving. So for those of you who are watching outside of the U.S., probably are familiar with Thanksgiving, where we give thanks to the Pilgrims and the Indians came to an agreement, to a peace, and ate food. So anyway, that's not what this video is about. It's not about Thanksgiving, except for what we're thankful for. And so I'm gonna wait for a few more people to come on here. Maybe I can talk. I got about another 35 minutes or so driving. Let me flip it here. You guys don't need to see me. You want to see the... There we go. See the palms. That's what you watch this channel for. So I got it on panoramic this time. I got it working. Hopefully it doesn't go out. So it's a busy road. I'm 41 here in downtown Punta Gorda, about to go over that bridge. So if you guys have any questions or concerns, or the doctor is in, the palm doctor is in. Funny story, actually. I used to part of what I did was International Palm Society had a bunch of people on there, and there was one guy that called himself the Palm Doctor, and he lived in Broward County, which is where Fort Lauderdale is. I'm not going to make a joke about that, but about counting votes and stuff like that. But and he would, I don't know if he had a job where he went and gave professional advice, but he definitely was not a professional. I went to his house and he had a lot of plants planted out, but he definitely didn't know a whole lot about what he was doing. But that's the way, Florida is kind of a land of opportunity. It's still kind of like a wild west for business, especially the plant business. So you can, I don't know, you can just kind of horse trade and do this and that, and it isn't like a normal thing. So it isn't like a rigid business, you could say. I don't work a 9 to 5. I work 24/7. Not really, actually. It's very inaccurate. But we got 4 people now. I didn't want to go live tomorrow because, one, I'd probably be busy. My mom is she has a rare, I think I've mentioned this before in a vlog, but she has a rare nerve disease. It's called Guillain-Barré disease, syndrome. Oh, hey. I didn't realize that was your name, Greenskeepers. Hey, Bobby. About that order, I was gonna make one, actually. It's funny you mentioned that. I was gonna get bigger pots. I don't think that me shipping them to you would make any cheaper of a price. It's very prohibitive. Prohibitively expensive. The cost of shipping for Stewie pots. I still do it. Need them, but if I don't absolutely need the pots, and I don't do it. Like if I have a project I'm undertaking, then I will definitely, get a shipment going. A guy close to me, he got a whole pile of stuff of TP37 pot, or MT, I don't know, one of the two, the one with the big hole in it. But I was using them to pot some things up. But anyway, happy Thanksgiving, Jacob. And so who here has gotten a frost so far? Has everybody gotten a frost? Because yeah, the shipping is just brutal. It's all based on weight, so the more you buy, the better the deal is, but it's never really a good deal. Like if you order 600 pots from a case of 640 pots of the MT37s, then you get it's like $125, something like that, and then you get the shipping is like 80. So it's not double, but it's like 60. It's like 65% of the price. The Killing Frost. What would you consider a killing one? Is that like a hard freeze? You mean like 27 or lower, or like one that kills the plants in your yard? Okay, I'm looking at 72 degrees right now here in Port Charlotte. Although it was 66 just like 5-6 miles back. Yeah, I went live for that little bit. Did that thing work out? I don't even know if I posted that live picture. So, but anyway, so yeah, I go visit my mom. Obviously for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna go see her. She's the first time she will be leaving her where she stays during this time in 7 months. So she's quite excited. So I doubt you guys want to see the inside of a long-term care facility. Let me see. Okay. It was 30. The bananas got damaged. Yeah, not completely dead though. So maybe it's a light frost. Yeah, but bananas. If it's like I talked about that thermal shock thing. If you are experiencing, like, if you get 30 degrees for like half an hour, and then you bounce back up to like 40 within another hour or two, then you'd be surprised how little damage you'll get. But if it sits, for example, the freeze of 89, I remember hearing stories about people from from everywhere from Sarasota to Fort Myers to Miami, talking about it being like nearly freezing at sunset, and it just being below freezing all night long. And that's the worst kind of freeze you can get, especially down here. People said it smelled in Miami of rotting plants for weeks. Just crown shafts usually will just melt on stuff. Like the pygmy dates were burnt to a crisp in the cooler parts of Miami and Fort Lauderdale. A lot of coconuts dead. I'd say 80% of the coconuts in Sarasota County were dead, and probably half of the ones in Fort Myers. Although I hadn't really been down here much at that time, so. But there's a few plants that I really want to do a vlog on, but I can't find a good specimen of it because it's. Oh yeah, my friend has. Okay, so I was gonna do a video last week. I was at the Edison Ford Estate, and you can look him up. He's a real nice. He's a great grower. He doesn't ship, but yeah, happy Thanksgiving, Tyler. And sometimes I get mixed up. I see Jacob Tyler, and I see Tyler Veron. But I mean, obviously, you guys, one has a last name of Tyler, and one has a first name. But anyway, so Jeff Searle from the Rainforest Collection in Southwest Ranches, Florida, which is right near Fort Lauderdale. It's in Broward County, like everything else is. And I was talking about stuff and putting things in the ground in Venice, which is definitely cooler than Fort Lauderdale, and this is probably 10 years ago. He told me this. He's like, listen, Christian, because he's older than I am. He's seen every Thanksgiving. He's seen a lot. And he told me that he came out and in anywhere west of the Turnpike and Miami, like Homestead, that area, Redland, anywhere of, like Miami Airport, like pygmy dates were damaged. You're talking like it was 26 degrees at Fairchild by the water in Miami. The only place that really escaped it was, I think it hit 30 degrees on Miami Beach, which isn't going to kill a coconut. Obviously, it's, it'll burn it, but, Key Largo was spared. It probably was like 35, 36 there. And Key West it wasn't quite, but he was telling me how, reality sets in when you see those hard freezes. And I mean, I had a high of 43 degrees once. That was interesting because that's definitely that was a record. And, and never getting above 43 during the days. 18, New Jersey, that's rough. I have a New Jersey story if you guys want to hear. I before I even moved to Florida, I was talking with a friend on Garden Web is where I learned a lot of. I got my first contacts. First was a guy who lived in New Jersey, North Jersey, and his name's Chris, like me, except for my name's Christian. And real nice, real cool guy. We talk about growing sagos, which are cycads, but it's and he talked about moving to Florida. I was like, okay, that's cool, and he wanted to get out, just sell what he had and just move. And I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do the same thing. And sure enough, like a year later, we ended up meeting up and talking more. I've only met him a couple times, but it's always been like a good friend. But it's weird, the people that you meet in the plant world will be your friends forever because you'll always share that connection. So, my best friends on this planet are plant people. So, but he was telling me how in the Jersey Shore they had some palms there. He saw a queen palm last until mid-December, which is pretty amazing actually considering. But king palm seedlings, native to Cali, Atlanta. Huh, that's interesting. Yeah, Arcana Phoenix, like, if you're talking about Cunninghamiana, and that ambulance and brake lights are intense. Um, they there's a lot of good palms that are very cool hardy. Like king palms are that way. They can sit in the 35 to 45 degree range for a long time. Just once they get it beyond a certain, I need to get away from this light. It is like that can't be legal. I mean, it probably is, but it doesn't feel it. Looks like there's somebody in there too. That's unfortunate. All right, let me get back to it here. Spanish moss. So Spanish moss is interesting in the fact that actually one isn't moss and two isn't native to the U.S. It's I forget where it is native, but it was introduced. It's actually a bromeliad. I think it might be native to South America or Central America, but Spanish moss is kind of it's kind of an indicator of if you can grow. Spanish moss is growing somewhere, you can grow a lot of other things as well, and it's kind of like a zone, an indication of like a zone 8 in my opinion. I don't know the exact temperature when Spanish moss dies off or where it can't grow, but I remember when I would drive to the Great Dismal Swamp near Virginia Beach, you started seeing it. So Ocean County, Jersey. Okay, I think you can get away with a lot of stuff in Ocean County, especially if you're close. I mean, most of Ocean County is near the water. My aunt used to live in Toms River or Pine Beach, so I used to go there a lot. But I can imagine trachees will do okay in Ocean County, possibly Sable Minor and needles. So, one thing I've never experienced is actually driving to Atlanta, and people tell me about how big of a city it is. I know population-wise, it's not one of the largest in the nation. I mean, it's getting there, but the size is like insane, and it just keeps on growing out and out. I don't know if I could ever do that anymore. I mean, I'm from New York City, but anyway, let's see here. Yeah, that's awesome. If you can introduce, Sable Minor to New Jersey, I mean, you can get 10% of people that that live in the area to try and grow palms. That'd be awesome. So, yeah, I was coming back from Irma, and they had three options. One was to take 85 to 285 to 75 in Atlanta. The other was to take 85 to 20, down to 95. The third one was going to drive through the country. So I was like, you know what? I'll drive through the country because I got nowhere to be. So, let's see here. So if you guys want to hear some stories about like the native, and some of you guys might know this person, but there's a friend of mine on Facebook, and he was he does a lot of like record keeping and collecting of seeds of cold hardy plants in the southeast. And he was in Bibb County, Alabama, which is just south of Birmingham, and he found what he believes is the most furtherly north growing strand of needle palms, and it's interesting to see that. They grow all the way through. People think needle palm, they think of it's a Florida native. Well, it's also a Georgia and Alabama native as well. And Sable Minor grows up North Florida into Georgia, Alabama, all the way into Oklahoma, Louisiana, Texas. It's probably the most widespread of all of the what's it called? All of the native palms of the United States. So I need to. Sorry, there's lots here now in Gwinnett County. Yeah. So that's what Gwinnett County. I see a lot of Gwinnett County plates here. So I know Fulton County and I know Cherokee County, and I know DeKalb, I think is the other one, yeah. But I didn't realize Gwinnett was. So there's a Trakey in Trenton, huh? That must be right by the water there on the Delaware River, I would imagine, because Trenton is actually pretty chilly considering it's inland Jersey. I could see Philadelphia. I guess if it gets away with it, it gets away with it. In Richmond, Virginia, where I lived for 10 years, it was there's a Trakey that's been there since 1949. So, oh, thank you for merging right into me. Part of what makes this YouTube live so great is me finding ways to channel my inner road rage into a positive. See, this guy just cut me off, and then he drives off to the gas station, and that's just how things go. As you can see, this is pretty much just high volume. I think you guys are probably used to it if you live in Atlanta and Jersey. So, right. Athens has a lot of windmills in Palmetto. Go Dogs. Are you asking me if I have any minor Trakey seeds? Or are you asking? Yeah, I think you're asking what's his name, Bobby. Wasn't sure there. I mean, if you're asking me, I have both Trakey Wagnerianus and Sable Minor. So. Oh, asking me. Yeah, I have Sable Minor, and I have the normal variety of minor, which is like a medium size. It's not huge like Louisiana variety, and it's not like the dwarf, which I find to be nice. Trachycarpus, I have Wagnerianus seed still. I just been kind of keeping in moss, and they tend to germinate kind of at what I call room temperature. For me is 78 degrees, because that's really what the air conditioning is set at. So, but yeah, I still have them. And let me know if anyone that buys seed from me, if you don't get good germination rates, don't hesitate to get a hold of me and say, hey Christian, I got like 20%. I was expecting better. Just let me know and I will make it right. Because I don't want. There's just been issues where I've had in the past where I've gone to seed dealers and they have just not answered me, or they've just given me like a blanket statement of, we've had no problems with this seed in the past. And I was like, well, I didn't start germinating seed yesterday. So Trachycarpus techile, honestly, I'm not the right person to ask about those other trachea seeds. There's a couple guys that grow that stuff, and they probably have better connections, because most trachees won't grow in Florida. In fact, the only one that really does well throughout all Florida is Wagnerianus. Fortunii doesn't even really do that well, like south of Orlando, because there's not a pronounced cold season here. So, the coldest it usually gets where I live, on average any given year, it's like 37, 38. I mean, it will get down. I got down to 31.7 last year, don't get me wrong, for a very short period. but they like having those frosts. I don't know what it is, but they are used to it, and they don't like our really hot summers. Excuse me. Especially at night. That seems to be. I'll give you guys an example of palms that I can't grow here. So I can't the one palm that I wish I could grow here. I guess there's a couple palms palms that I wish I could grow here, but I can't because it's actually too hot. On the top of that list is when I go live again. I don't know. It might not be till like Sunday when I'm driving home. I might try and do a vlog and upload it, but I'm gonna, unless I am driving somewhere Saturday. Oh, this is a right turn only lane. Yeah, so Tyler, if you want to buy some seeds, my Facebook page is Faulkner's Palms. You can just type it in and you should be able to find it. You can message me there. You can also email me at faulknerspalmsllc@gmail.com. And you can message me and I can give you a list. There will be a list of what's available on my Facebook business page, and you can just talk to me directly through there. I don't get on there. Well, obviously tomorrow, tomorrow being Thanksgiving, I'm not even going to be at my house for a couple days, but usually can send seeds out really fast. I'm trying to make that like one of my things where do I sell? Yes, I do sell saw palmetto, and hold on, yeah. And so anyway, yeah, if you guys want to get a hold of me, Faulkner's Palms LLC@gmail.com, or my Facebook page, Faulkner's Palms. If I don't get back to you right away, then I am not on my computer. I'm only on my phone. So if it's a day or two, it's probably just because I'm out of town. So okay, awesome. Yeah, so the seeds I'm going to have up and coming, I'm going to have some European fan seeds from Texas. Next month I'm going to have some needle palm seeds. I'm going to have a couple possibly cold hardy Copernicia seeds. So I don't. You guys probably are not familiar with Copernicia tectorum. It's from Venezuela. It's related more to like Copernicia alba and pernifera, which are pretty cold hardy. They're from Brazil and Paraguay. But Venezuela is not as chilly as Brazil is. I really don't know what cold hardy Copernicia tectorum is. I'm guessing it's relatively, probably like any Cuban one. So, but there's a couple species of palms that I notice a lot of people that do follow me like the cold hardy stuff. And there's some guys that live in the tropics, and they like the obviously tropical stuff. But there's a couple species, and I wish I could spell it out for you, but there's Maxparedia furtidona. It looks a lot like a European fan. It's from northern Thailand. It grows up in the limestone cliffs in I believe it's Kung Sao National Park, and that's supposedly very cold hardy. A lot of the Chinese stuff that comes out of a lot of like Chunio Phoenix hainanensis is very cold hardy. There's Chunio Phoenix nana. What else do we not see a whole lot of that's pretty cold hardy? I mean, the lady palm, Rhapis excelsa, is pretty cold hardy itself. So I'm just trying to think of what else is I didn't see there's a bunch of messages down below here. Okay. Alright, chance. That's from Acrea. I'm not familiar with Acrea. Is that I'm going to try? I think you might have misspelled it. Genus. Acrea. Maybe it's something I don't know about. Do you know how to get a stable to grow in a pot inside throughout the winter? That's a good question. What I would do is put it in the sunniest place possible and give it some water. What your biggest fight will be against spider mites and the temperature. So if you can keep it warm and keep some air going around it, spider mites won't be able to live on it. They thrive on kind of dry, cool, calmly winded areas. You can also spray wax on it so they cannot get through to it. I mean, they can get through, but it's a lot harder. So, the acrea. So when you say the traveler, okay, if you're talking about the travelers, Areca palm. Okay, should have rearranged the letters there. So let me talk about the Areca first. So Arecas, you'll see them in various states of growth in Florida. In the tropics, they'll grow to 30 feet tall with like 7-8 canes, right? And then you can get, like, around where I live, they grow to like 15 to 20 feet tall. Once in a while, the tips will get burned. And like in Venice here, I mean, I can show you guys some 15-footers. And then you can grow them in areas that get hard freezes, and the main trunks may die, but the clumps seem to always remain. It's actually pretty hard to kill outright. So if you want to just try it and see what happens, there are some cold hardier types of that plant. Dipsis pembana is one of them. That's okay. I just, I can't look at, unfortunately, I don't want to be looking at the screen as much, too much because of the traffic situation and everything. But, man, it's just been a rough night for police. I guess just a lot of traffic, a lot of weird stuff. But as far as Traveler's Tree surviving, Traveler's Trees are actually not that cold hardy from my experience. I would say that they're a 9B plant. 9A, they're probably gonna be quite stunted. I'd say 8B. I mean, if you want to try, and they're actually really easy to wrap because they bend. They're like rubber. You just bend it all in and want to wrap it up. They're related to the banana, so if you want something close to that, the white bird of paradise is going to be more cold hardy. You can probably get away with that in 8B. I see that growing in Gainesville. Gainesville is a pretty chilly. Oh, I got someone doing 41 and a 55. It's always fun. Man, I just, because YouTube will will give me a hard time if I curse or do whatever. Then I don't do it on here. You can get copyright striked or stricken for whatever reason. You can't do it from just cursing, but I'd rather keep this on YouTube relatively family friendly, since people mention that their kids watch, they hear me cursing like a sailor. Difference between a palmetto and a Ceiba mexicana. Yeah, that's pretty much it. These if you touch a palm frond and it's got these thick leathery fronds, whether they're palmate or pinnate, they tend to be more cold hardy, and I would agree with that. I think that Ceiba mexicana, even though it's quote from Mexico, really it's probably because it goes through much more drought than palmetto does here. I don't know if it's cold harder than a palmetto, but it's cold hardy. And I drove through like Brazoria County in Texas a while back, what's it called? There's some nice beefy palmettos, and I don't know if they're like a natural hybrid between palmetto and mexicana, but any hybrid sable should probably be pretty cold hardy, I would imagine. So just kind of think about that. And I think I think the sables you want to stay. It's more the sables you want to try and stay away from are the tender leafed sables that grow in Central America. That would include Sable Yapa, Sable Mauritiiformis, They tend to have like a larger, very split leaf, dark green. So yeah, the only part of Texas I went through was Houston down to Brownsville, so I just kind of saw. But I can imagine Mexicana. I mean, the plants just looked bigger in Texas, so I assumed it was something was going on, whether it's just Mexicana or it was just some kind of hybrid. So a lot of people don't even. Yeah, I mean that's people not believing that the palms are native to the U.S. I mean that's that's just not true. There's no way that palmettos all grew up in all these areas. I mean, Florida has palmettos everywhere. I'm talking, Serenoa and Civil palmetto are everywhere. Now, Royals are a different story. Roystonia is possibly not native to the United States, or may have been introduced like in the last 400 or 500 years. Which, does that mean that it's native? It's hard to say. Um, it's definitely is naturalized. If you drive down certain parts like really far south near Everglades City, there's naturalized strands of royal. I mean, there's just wild. There's a couple wild coconuts growing, wild royals, wild Everglades palm. Acela Rafie. There's a little bit of. It's definitely naturalized. I'm up here in Dallas, like more in the Hardy. Okay. Hello. Is that Sita? Glendra. Yeah. Hello. Hello, Sita. Where are you from? Yeah. Some of the palms that you guys know so and love so much, I actually can't even grow here. Like I can't grow Jubea here. I can't grow. I really can't grow stuff like Hawea very well. I can grow it in the shade, but I can't grow it very well. Not like they do in California. I can't grow the purple king palm that well. I can, but it just never looks that good. Is there a hybrid of anything with Bismarckia? I've never actually seen anything that is legitimately a Bismarckia hybrid, but theoretically, Bismarckia and Hyphani could hybridize and create a palm there. Tahina and Bismarckia, but that's like a really uncommon, weird thing that probably would never happen. Latania is also, so is Lodoicea, which is the double coconut, but you're just never going to see that. I would say Latania Bismarckia and Hyphania Bismarckia are your best chances at a hybrid there. So, wondering if there's a hybrid or anything. Okay, if a bird carries a seed, say from Mexican palm, like a Brahia, to California, and they start a stand that keeps reproducing. Yeah, if nature creates a situation where a palm starts to grow somewhere, then yeah, I unfortunately I think that part of like palm evolution is kind of over because of how many people there are on this earth. So I mean, it's possible, definitely possible. There are some interesting native strands of certain palms in Florida in places you wouldn't expect. Okay. Okay, no problem with the keyboard. Do Canada Post strike my seeds for you have been. Wow. Yeah, I've heard some. When you mentioned Bobby, when you mentioned you're in Canada, I don't send seeds to Canada very often. I don't mind doing it, but it seems that customs in Canada is very hardcore. The best way I can explain that, and they don't explain what they want as far as their. Give me one sec here, guys. They're very. They seem very bitter. I've gotten an email from them. I asked some questions, and they seem to not want to help out. So, but yeah, so I was gonna do a little story on Bismarck's. Like today I passed by the street down one street over from me. There's a guy with a green Bismarck, and when there's a frost, that thing just turns brown. I mean, it's kind of like a fast growing sable, but it's not very cold hardy. It's It's as hold sensitive as a coconut, if not more. And so this guy, sometimes you get some candid camera situations where people just don't care about the red lights. But anyways, the blue ones are really blue ones are very hardy. Yeah, that's unfortunate. There's a strike going on. I can't imagine that happening in the U.S. I'm sure it's just bad in Canada this time of year. So the silver Bismarckies you're finding are expensive, because if they are, I mean, I can try and I've got a friend who's got literally community pots of Bismarcks. They're so root bound. I don't know if how many would survive, but I don't know what he's going to do with them. If he doesn't really want like a lot of money for it, I might be able to just like send them. If you want to say, I don't even know what they would cost. It wouldn't be expensive though. But the problem is, the further north you go, the more you're going to spend for a palm. Unfortunately, this usually has to travel further. I don't know how expensive. I've seen them up north. People will. I actually went to Lowe's today to look at rock, just for drainage rock, and what they wanted for palms there wasn't terrible, but it wasn't the price I would pay just because of So, but yeah, let me see what I can do. I usually do a lot of trading with him, so I gotta talk to him and make sure I get the. That reminds me, I do have to talk to him. So, speaking of that, I feel bad now. There's 12 people watching. It's more than ever. Yeah, I would imagine Bismarcky, it grows well in the warmer parts of Houston, because I've seen pygmy dates growing there, so Bismarck should be just fine. I could be wrong. So we got 13 people now. I feel really bad because I've got to literally leave in like 3 or 4 minutes. For silver Bismarck, I would say 9A is fine. I mean, it's going to burn. I know a guy who grows one in Zone 8, though. He grows one outside of Tallahassee. It burned last year, but it's still alive. So, in a town called Crawfordville, it's like 20 miles southwest of Tallahassee, maybe 30 miles. The hurricane might have like done that in, so. Yeah, basement in Canada probably be okay. Man, all this talking, my throat's dry. Okay, so I'm gonna have to, when I park, I'll have to get going. But do you know if any palms are native to the Korean Peninsula? No, I know that there's no palms native to the Korean Peninsula. In that part of Asia, there are no palms native to mainland Japan, like any of the major islands. The furthest you have to go kind of down to Okinawa to get to native palms. In China, you have to go down to like Guangdong or Fujian province to get to some stuff. But yeah, I think it's called like Jeonju in Korea. There's an island off the coast. It's actually kind of subtropical. It's a lot like, say, like maybe like North Carolina climate, and they do grow some palms there. I've actually looked on Google Photos. If you guys want to have something to look at, I've got your alarms. Oh, the notifications. So yeah, I'm here now at the lovely establishment where my mother stays. So I will see you guys later. I may be able to get back on later on if you guys want to. So I hope if I don't, I hope everyone has a great Thanksgiving and stays warm and their palms stay warm. And yeah, no problem, guys. No problem, Bob. And if I get back on, you push that notification button, and I'll be back on. So until then, happy growing. Alrighty, guys and gals.